Alright, I'm finally making another video. It's been a long time coming. And we moved around a lot, and we're finally in a new shop, and we settled in. And so I'm going to be doing maintenance on all the machines in here. And I figured this would be a great time and a great opportunity to show you guys how to do simple maintenance on these John Deere Gators. And it's a very simple process, and we're going to go over that to help you out. So what I went ahead and did was went to the local dealer over here, John Deere dealer, and I picked up a home maintenance kit, and it gives you everything that you need to do simple maintenance on these machines. And so we're gonna open this up and we're gonna see what they give you. Just make sure that you get that in your box as well when you pick yours up. So you get your air filter, which is nice, your air intake filter, your oil filter, your fuel filter. You get your 3 spark plugs, because this is a 3-cylinder. And then you get the oil that you need for this machine. So we're going to be changing all this out, and I also like it too because they give you this little sticker too. It's a service sticker. It's like almost as if you went to the dealer and they did it. So you could just mark down your hours or the date for your next service. You just put it in the, in the windshield window, wherever you want to put it. It reminds you to do your next your next set of maintenance. So we're gonna get into this machine. We're gonna start with doing the oil, and we'll move our way around to the air filter, fuel filter, and then changing out the spark plugs, which can be a little intimidating, but it's simple. They make these machines a lot simpler than other things that you tend to work on. So let's get in with this this oil change, and we'll go from there. All right. All right, so obviously the first thing we're going to do is we got to get access to the engine. The engine is under the bed. If you have a powered bed, that's great. You're going to power it up, and we're going to open it up right now. So we just turn the key to the on position so we can get power to the back to the pump, so we can power that up, and then we just push the button. You got to always take the cap off. So we're going to go ahead and pop the cap off here, which is this yellow one right on top. And you could set it off to the side. I would set it off to the side because I'm going to be taking this off later on in the video to get to our spark plugs. And then we're going to just pull a dipstick on this side. It's on the passenger side, and the inner side of the frame. Just pop that up. It gives you extra airflow to pull down that oil when you unplug it. So it's just the basics to changing oil on anything that you change oil on. Okay, so you're going to come right underneath the cab, and we're facing towards the back of the machine. And so there is a skid plate that comes across here. There's 3 bolts, one here, one there next to the middle one, and there's one off to the side over there. You just unscrew those, and you take the plate out. It's very light, and just put it off to the side so you can get to your filter, which is right there. There's another skid plate here, but you don't have to worry about taking this one off because there's a bunch of holes on the bottom here that gives you access to the drain plug, and then as well as this hole here, which allows any of the oil that comes out of the filter to drain out into your pan on the bottom. Just make sure you line up your pan so that you don't get oil everywhere. And then your plug is going to be in this hole right here. And that is a 14mm socket that we're going to be using. So we're going to go ahead and break that loose real quick, and then we are going to drain it out. So put the socket on here. Alright, I got it loose. Wow, that was really on there. Okay, so once you get the filter out, what you want to do is you just want to make sure everything's clean, and that you don't have that gasket come off the old filter, because what happens is sometimes when filters obviously age,
they can lose the gasket can get stuck to the housing, and then it comes off the filter. And when you go to put your new filter on, you might double gasket it, and you'll get a leak. So you just want to make sure you can see the metal ring around the housing. I like to wipe it down, clean it off, so that there's not a lot of oil all over it, or any sort of debris that comes off the block. So we're going to want to go ahead and clean that out. And this is a must on all filters, if you don't know this. You want to always lubricate this gasket so that it doesn't dry rot and then crack, and then you start having a leak off of the filter that you just put on. That tends to happen. So what I'll do is, I could take a little bit of this oil here. It's not bad. You just take a little bit like that, and you're gonna rub it around this ring here. I know some people might freak out and say, "Oh, there's stuff all, debris and stuff," but there's actually nothing on this. It's clean oil. If there was chunks of rust or whatever, but this machine is fairly clean, and I have also coated the inside of this with some undercoating lubricant called fluid film, which is good to prevent bad rusting and corrosion on these machines when you're using them in the snow. So we went ahead, we lubricated that gasket, and now we're going to put this on by hand. And when you're putting oil filters on, you always want to torque it by hand, because if you use the filter remover or any other filter remover socket and you torque it with a wrench, you'll over torque it. You'll have a hard time getting it off the next time, just like it was a pain to get this off. And you could also damage the gasket by smashing it too much and ripping the gasket as you're torquing it too much. So we're going to go ahead and get a good torque on it by hand. We'll get an angle here and just wail on it. Okay, so that's there. We're going to get this plug out of the drain pan. Okay, we're going to clean it off. I always say clean it off because when it falls in your pan and your pan's not clean, you'll get some crap all over it, and you're going to be putting that into the oil pan. So just wipe it down clean as best you can. Get all that crap all off of the plug. We're going to get our socket on here. We're going to torque this down. You just hand torque it down as best you can. Don't go crazy. There's obviously torque specs, but if you do this often, you could feel it. You don't have to go crazy. Obviously, don't go too light, or you'll be like some companies that I know, and I don't want to name their names, but I've had people I know who've taken their cars there for quick lubes, and they get down the road and they want to know why their oil filter came off. So it's because they didn't torque it correctly. Okay, so I'll put this plate back on. I'm not going to waste your time with that. Just these 3 screws again. Put that plate on, and that's it for that as far as draining. We're going to get to the top, and we're going to start filling it with oil. Just clean this up a little bit. I know I spilled a little oil. It happens. It's fine. Yeah, I know I should use a funnel, but it's fine. Okay, so got that capped up. We have our dipstick in. We'll end up firing the machine up to let the oil circulate through the filter, all through the engine, and then we're going to check levels. It should be good. If not, I have an extra quart just to top it off if I have to. Okay, so now we're going to come on this passenger side of the Gator, and we're going to come right on this inner side of this frame. And right where this is, we'll put that back. This is your fuel filter right here. And so what you're going to do is, it's being held in by a tab right here. And what I did was I take a flathead screwdriver and I put it right underneath this hose, in between this hose and the frame, so I can get down as close as I can. And then you're just going to pry that way with the screwdriver, and it'll pull this tab right out. So it pulled it out of the frame, and then what you'll then do is, on the other side of it, the bottom side of it, if I show you here, this is the new one. It's like a fork. So all you're going to do is you're going to slide it out. This is the one that really holds it in. So we have to pry that one off, slide that one out, and then we should get the filter out. Okay, so as I said, we're going to take this flathead screwdriver. We're going to go from the bottom of this frame right now. And you're going to come up between, and you're just going to pry it off just like you did on the top. So that's what I did here, and I got this filter out. Now with these tabs right here that hold this fitting on, I broke this one on accident. It broke. But you're going to have to work with it. It's kind of a pain. So what I did is I used my snap ring pliers, and you just want to pry both of the, if I can get a video of it here, right in there. There's going to be two black pieces here, just like this. They hook on, and you just want to push them out so that they can slide right off. And that's what happened here. I did that, and then as you can tell, it slides right out. And then I should be able to pull this filter out. So that's going to take me 2 hands here to do that. And then we'll get this filter out and we'll get the new one back in. I'm not worrying about this because once I get both the pieces in, it'll hold it in place. And if not, I can just go pick another one up. But yeah, it was a little weak when I was pulling on it. So snap ring, or you could use a flathead or a pick. Just work your time, take your time with it, just to separate the two hooks that lock in the fitting, and then just slide that tab out just like I did there. Just like that, it slid out, and then when you put the new one back in, we're just going to push that back in until it clicks and it's locked back into place. And what it does is it locks over this section of the fuel filter so that the fuel line doesn't slide off. So it's just a quick disconnect and quick connect fitting. So let me pry this off, and then we're going to show you the new one and putting it back together. The flow. Okay, you want to pay attention to the flow. That's telling you the flow of the gas. And we know that the gas flows from the fuel tank to the engine. So the tank's underneath our seat, which is under the cab, and that's going to flow to this engine. So we're going to make sure that the arrow is pointing, in this case, it's going to be pointing towards the back of the Gator. So that's the flow of fuel. That obviously is important to remember. So it's going to come down here, and all you're going to do is you're going to push it back in to the line. Okay, I'm going to take this piece, and we're just going to push it back in to the fitting so that it locks that fuel line in, so that that fuel line doesn't come off. Okay, we're going to come on the passenger side door. We're going to open up the door. We can take the seat off here, so you just lift up on the seat and you could just pull it out. I'm going to set it off to the side over here. Lift from the front of the pad, pull up on it because it's got hooks that will hook into here and on the other side. So when you put it back in, you'll hook it, and then the front will go down last. If we come in here, move it closer here, Mark, so they can see. This is your box here. You just take that off. There should be a bottom one right here. You want to unhook it. You could just really reach it from here, but you know, why try to struggle when you could do that? As you can tell, this is already beat up. So we'll throw this one in there. This is garbage now. This is the easiest, along with the oil, but this is the easiest thing to fix. That's it. And then we'll just put the seat back on. Like I was saying, got this hook right here and got one down there. So we're just going to place them in. And there. Seat's all back in. Very simple. That's done. Now let's move over to the spark plugs. Alright, so last thing we're going to do here is take these spark plugs out. In order to do that, you got to take this cover off here. It's a Phillips head, and as you can tell, these are rusted. So trying to use a regular screwdriver is not gonna cut it. You're gonna strip them. And your regular screwdriver, this is a Milwaukee bit. This is a PH2 bit. So that's kind of what your screwdriver is. It's more pointy. What's gonna really work on this is going to be the PH3 bit, which if you look here, it's fatter. It's not as pointy. And what you're going to do is, if you got a drill, it'll probably help you a lot to get the torque on it. So you're just going to put that bit in there. It really does not let any play. The screwdriver I was trying earlier, it's got too much play, and you're definitely going to strip it, and you're going to have a hard time getting this cover off. So you're going to just push down as hard as you can to give it some pressure, and you're just going to back it out. Leaving the cap on for the oil so you don't get any junk in there. So now I'm going to take the cap off. We're going to pull from here. This comes off pretty easy. You can set it off to the side here. And then I'm just going to put this cap back on. Make sure nothing got in there. Just so nothing falls in there. Alright, very simple. Make sure you always put stuff off to the side so you don't lose it. And now we're going to pull up on this. Okay, goes all the way down there. So just take your time pulling it so you don't mess up the wiring. So I got to make sure, and don't lose which one goes where so that you don't have a misfire. So that one's going to go to the first one. That's this one here to the left. The middle one goes to the middle. The right is going to go to this third one right here towards you. So that's a good way to remember it. Pull up on that. Give it a little twist and pull as you're doing it. And I'm going to set this one off over here. And now we're going to need an extension to get down in there because it's far down. And I'm hoping my socket will reach in there. Oh. Okay. I'm going to get a vacuum real quick because all this junk around here, the guy I bought it from, they lived on a farm. So there's a lot of dirt and dust and hay and grass and stuff they got in here. So when I pull those plugs, I don't want that stuff falling into the cylinder head. So we're going to vacuum this real quick and then we're going to come back to taking them out, putting the new ones in. Alright, well that was simple. Okay. Now we're going to take our time getting these out. Again, there's torque specs. I don't have the torque specs right now, but just want to make sure that they're snug. That's good. And I can just go ahead and pop this one in so that it's done. Oh, that's it. You want to make sure these wires stay in the center here so that they don't obstruct when we put these screws back on. Alright, so we're going to take this plate here, take this cap off, put this back over, and okay, I'm going to screw this back on so like I said you don't get any crap in the engine. Drop that one. Again, thread it by hand. That's it. She's back on. Everything's on. Now it's just time for cleanup. So, oil change, spark plugs, fuel filter, and the air intake filter. It's all taken care of. Perfect. I really hope that this video helped you guys out with your maintenance. I know the fuel filter was a little tough, but you know, just take your time with it. You know, that's the thing, is just take your time. You'll get it done. You have everything that you need to get it done. So yeah, if you have any comments about tools that you think I need to get things done more efficient, definitely let me know. If you have any other questions, concerns, leave comments below. Definitely love hearing back from everybody. But I'm going to be putting out a video for that pump to change out the fluid. I didn't do it at the time because the fluid was still in good condition and it was new. But now it's time to change it, so we're going to make a video on that and help you out with figuring out how to do that. So like and subscribe this video. You guys stay tuned for other videos as well. I hope you guys stay happy and healthy, and we'll definitely see you soon. Take care, everyone.